In this video, I'm going to give you a brief introduction to dictionaries. In Python, a dictionary is an object that stores items of data. Now, you've had some experience using other types of objects that store items of data. For example, you've used a list before, and a list is simply an object that stores items of data. But dictionaries are different from lists in a number of ways. One of the ways that dictionaries are different is that all of the items that are stored in a dictionary are divided into two parts. There is a key and a value. Now, maybe the best way to understand how this key-value pairing works, and quite often we refer to the items that are stored in a dictionary, we refer to them as key-value pairs, because you take a pair of things, you take a key and a value, and you put them together and it makes up one item. Perhaps the best way to understand how this works is to think about the way that a traditional dictionary works, like the Merriam-Webster dictionary. Let's say that you tell one of your friends that you're taking a course in Python, and your friend has absolutely no idea what you're talking about, so he goes and gets the dictionary and he decides to look up the word Python. So when he looks up the word Python, he's going to see something like this. So he'll see the word Python, and he will see a definition. So all of the entries that are stored in a traditional dictionary are made up of two things. There is a word, and then there is a definition. Well, this is actually a key-value pair. The word is the key, and the definition is the value. When you want to retrieve or look up a particular definition, you have to use the key, which is the word. A good example of a program that might use a dictionary would be a phone book program. Let's say that you have a list of your friends' names and their phone numbers, and you want to create a program that keeps these names and phone numbers and lets you look up a person's phone number. If you know the person's name, then the program will give you the person's phone number. Well, the approach that you would take in storing these items in a dictionary would be that you would look at a name and a phone number as an entry or an item that goes in the dictionary, where the name would be the key and the phone number would be the value. So when you create a dictionary in memory, you might think of it as something like this, where in this example we have three entries, or we have three items that we want to store. So here in the dictionary we've created in memory, we have three items. Now, in this screen, we're showing some typical Python syntax. Notice that here in the entry for Chris, we have Chris's name, which is the key, followed by a colon, followed by Chris's phone number, which is the value. When you are typing the items for a dictionary in a Python program or in Python code, you always separate the key and the value with a colon. The key appears on the left side of the colon, and the value appears on the right side of the colon. Now, once you have these items of data stored in a dictionary, then you can use the dictionary to look up any of these phone numbers. For example, if we want to know Chris's phone number, then we would use Chris as the key. We would send that key to the dictionary, and the dictionary would send Chris's value, which is his phone number, back to us. If we wanted to know Katie's phone number, we would use the key Katie. We would send that to the dictionary, and the dictionary would send back Katie's phone number. And likewise, if we wanted to know Joanne's phone number, we use Joanne as the key. We send that to the dictionary, and the dictionary sends back to us Joanne's phone number. Here in the Python shell, I've shown an example of how you create a dictionary in Python code. So in this statement, which I've already typed in, and we've created the dictionary, but in this statement the name of the dictionary is phone book, and I've initialized it with these items that are enclosed inside the curly braces. So you can see that these are the same items that we saw in the previous screens. We have some names and phone numbers. Here's Chris, that's the key, and the value is this phone number. And then we have a comma followed by the next item. Katie is the key, and then this value is the value, followed by a comma, and then we have the last item where Joanne is the key, and this is the value. So this is an example of how you would create and initialize a dictionary in Python code. Now here in the interactive mode interpreter, if I just type in the name of the dictionary and hit enter, it will display all of the items that are stored in the dictionary. But if you look at this closely, you'll notice something. You'll notice that the items that are displayed are not necessarily shown in the order that I entered them when I created this initialization list. You'll notice that in the code when I created the dictionary, it was Chris followed by Katie followed by Joanne in that order, but when I displayed the value of the dictionary, it came up Chris, Joanne, and Katie. So the order that Python gives me, the contents of the dictionary, are not necessarily in the order that I created those items. So that's another way that dictionaries are different from lists. A list is a sequence of items. When you store items in a list, they're stored in a particular order. But in a dictionary, there is there's no order. It's not a sequence of items. So you can't really iterate over the items in a dictionary and expect those items to come back to you in any particular order. So just keep that in mind. That's another difference between dictionaries and lists. Now let's suppose we want to retrieve a particular item from the dictionary. Let's say we want to retrieve Chris's phone number. So we could enter an expression like this, phone book, the name of the dictionary, and then inside of square brackets we provide the key, and the dictionary returns to us the value that is associated with that key. Okay, so this expression will give us Katie's phone number, and this expression will give us Joanne's phone number. What if we provide a key that does not exist in the dictionary? We don't have Jimmy's phone number, so an exception is raised, and we get a key error exception. Now, in an actual Python program, you would probably do something like this. You would assign the result of such an expression to a variable. Here we are, we're asking for, Here we are asking the phone book dictionary for the value that is associated with the key Chris. It's going to return a value to us, and we're going to assign that value to the number variable. So if we just look at the contents of the number variable, it has Chris's phone number assigned to it. A moment ago, you saw what happened when we tried to retrieve a value for a key that does not exist in the dictionary. You'll recall that when I tried to get Jimmy's phone number from the dictionary, a key error exception was raised. Now you can prevent those types of exceptions by using the in operator to determine whether a key actually exists in the dictionary before you try to submit that to the dictionary. And here's an example. Suppose we want to to get Chris's phone number, but we want to make sure Chris is actually in the dictionary. So we would say something like this: if Chris in phone book. Okay, so if Chris is in the phone book, then we're just simply going to print Chris's phone number. And since Chris is in the phone book, we display his phone number. You can also use the not in operator. Here's an example. If Jimmy not in phone book, if that's the case, we'll print an error message or a message indicating that Jimmy is not found. You can easily add new items to an existing dictionary. In some of the previous examples, we've looked for Jimmy in our phone book dictionary, and Jimmy's not there. So let's say that we decide we need to add Jimmy to the dictionary. So we could type a statement like this. And let's say Jimmy's phone number is... Okay, so the statement that we just executed created a new entry, a new item, or a new element, if you will, in the phone book dictionary. And the new item has the key Jimmy and the value 5554444. So if we display the contents of the dictionary, you can see here that indeed we have added Jimmy to the dictionary. Now, if we want to delete an item from the dictionary, then we simply use the delete statement, or the del statement, D-E-L. We type that in, followed by an expression like this. And that statement just deleted Jimmy from the dictionary. You simply specify the key, and the del statement will go to the dictionary, and it will delete the key value pair containing that key. So let's look inside the phone book dictionary, and you can see that Jimmy is no longer there. Okay, well, this video has given you a brief introduction to the basic things that you can do with the dictionaries. I would encourage you to continue reading in this chapter in your textbook, because it covers many other things that you can do with the dictionaries.